What's good, Council of Comics? Welcome to the Film and Box Office News Podcast. Be back in 30 seconds.
Black is like the brightest day. We're on.
Whoops. What's good, Council of Comics? Welcome to the Film and Box Office News Live Podcast, episode number 34. Super Mario's done $1 billion. And Mamoa, Conan? What?
Black is like the brightest day. Where are the heroes? Soon as they get here, everything will be alright. I need a hero. Someone superhuman who can come and save my life. Crisis after crisis.
What is good, Council of Comics? Thank you for joining us again on another Sunday night for our Film and Box Office News show. This is episode number 34. We do this every Sunday night at 5 p.m. where we go over the box office news, we go over movie news, and then we go over a movie that we've all had to watch for homework and review it. And of course, as usual, I have with me my great counsel, my loyal brothers, Phil, Cliff, Green Shirt Guy. Thank you for joining us. But first, if you are not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. I looked at the analytics, and over 80% of you are not subscribed, and you're watching. Oh my God. We have a 500 subscriber giveaway coming up. We're going to have a video that's coming out, and anybody that comments on that video, likes that video, and subscribes to the channel will be entered into the 500 subscribers.
So long as you're in the
giveaway.
United States or Canada.
Excellent point there, Cliff. We will not be shipping internationally.
Well, Canada's international.
Right, but we are limiting it to the United States and Canada.
All right. So how you guys doing today?
Great.
Doing
My
good,
favorite
doing good.
part of this episode so far is you saying "oops" right at the beginning.
Oops. I think that's the beauty of what we do. Like, I think all these other channels spend a lot of time like cutting out all their mistakes.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was editing a haul video just now on my new laptop, and I wanted to do it with Premiere instead of doing it on my phone. And I cut out so many I'm like, oh, is this what they do all the time? I'm like, this is pretty annoying. But it does make
That's
the video
why.
better.
That's why it's nice that they get paid for it.
Yeah. It makes it crisper, it makes it tighter. But as the person doing it, oh my God, having a full-time job, oh my God, it's
Well, this is more
time-consuming.
authentic though. Leaving that.
Yeah.
Whole...
Yeah. So we will never chop up this live podcast unless it's for multiple videos that we can put out through the week so you can watch. But
It's
live
targeted.
is live. Yes. All right, let's get right into this movie news, my friends. Alan Rickman tribute has teary-eyed fans remembering actors' best roles.
Oh,
there's
this
a
is
ton.
cool, Alan Rickman. Aw.
Yeah. What do you think
Die
is
Hard.
his most popular role?
Probably Professor Snape.
Ooh.
Yes,
I
he
don't,
was really. I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
I was
whether
gonna
it's
say, do you
or
think
not,
you
I
think
don't
that?
know. Hans Gruber.
I know that's probably
Hans
number
Gruber,
two.
but
Die Hard
Hans
is
Gruber's
probably
right there.
number
But-
two.
But I was gonna say Snape is gonna take it. It cast a much wider net. A much wider
Not
net.
the Metatron.
I love the Metatron. That's my personal favorite. My personal favorite from Dogma,
Yeah.
which is a movie that I cannot watch with a lot of people.
No,
No.
That's a good movie.
I
That's a great
remember I
movie.
saw that movie in the theater. I'm a big Kevin Smith fan. Some of his movies lately have been kind of hit or miss, and I still enjoy them for what they are. But I remember seeing that movie in the theater, and I worked at a hardware store, and I was talking with somebody I worked with, and this woman came up to me, was like, "I can't believe you saw that movie," and just kind of went off. I said, "Well," she kind of gave me some. She's like, "They did this, that's, that, and the other," and I'm like, "Well, did you see it?" She goes, no. I said, well, then how can you comment on it? I'm like,
Oh my
I saw
god.
it.
Oh my
and
god.
I hear what you're saying, but all the things you're saying are not in the movie. You must have read an article somewhere because I saw it, and that's not the case. She's like, well, all right, well, and then kind of backtracked a little, but I'm like, you can't. That's
Yeah,
what
the
I have a problem
prerequisite is you have to watch the movie.
with. Right.
You
I
give
have
your,
no problem if
what
you
you
have
want to
pictures
say
or
about it and blah blah blah. Make your statement about it, but
Absolutely.
you have to watch the movie.
That's my point. Like, if you want to bash a movie, I don't care. I said from day one, you have the right to say whatever you want. I may not agree with it, but you have the right to say it. But you have to at least see it before you can bash it. Because where are you coming from then?
Welcome to my world.
I was waiting. I was like, Cliff has the next thing to say. I know he does.
Oh, that was
Yeah, I think
Robin Hood, right?
Oh yeah, he was good in that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Love
was
Actually, he's good in too.
Yeah, Love
Oh,
Actually.
He was a great actor, man.
I'd say Snape's the one he probably get the most notoriety
Yes.
recently. But I would put Hans Gruber. I mean, people still quote Hans Gruber.
And people,
Yeah, but that was one movie.
right.
He
but
was
almost
Snape in
nobody
multiple
quotes Snape.
movies.
You all recognize him as Snape, but nobody quotes Snape.
People
Yeah.
quote Snape.
I
Not
mean,
as much
the
as-
Potter World does. The Potter
The
World.
Potter
does.
World quotes Snape quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, page 294. I get it, but I'm just saying. I'm just to me.
I was gonna say right, but we're a different generation. Like I think of Hans Gruber first when I think of him,
Right.
and the Metatron. But I'm well aware that the fact is those 7 or 8 movies,
Eight because they split the last book into 2.
right? So 8 movies cast a huge net on one of his most well-known performances, and still an excellent performance, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not taking anything away with it. Maybe it's a generational thing.
Galaxy, it is a generational thing. Galaxy Quest still gets so much praise.
Yes, Galaxy Quest is an
Yeah.
amazing movie,
Yeah.
and he's
That is
great.
a
in
great
it.
comment.
I almost think, on some level, and he's playing himself in that movie.
I think there's like a little bit that he could take from himself to put into that character, but some of it is like just crazy Trekian stuff, you know.
Well, but I mean, what I'm saying is I almost feel like, not that he felt this way, because I think he had a lot of fun doing that movie. But
Yeah.
the ethos of that character is, I can't believe I'm doing this crap. I'm a Shakespearean trained actor, and I'm doing this, and this is what I get known for. And not that I think he felt that way, but I could see him going, well, this is not necessarily where I wanted my career to go, but I'm enjoying it. But I could be doing, X, Y, and Z.
I think the reality is, if any role could have made him feel that way, it would be Snape, which came later, right?
Yeah, maybe.
And in reality, he seemed to take great joy in every role he had. And anyone you hear talk about working with him, all they do is talk about how wonderful it was to talk to him, his guidance. I mean, like every single thing is so touching that people have to say to him. Like I get teary-eyed every time I think about it.
Well, rest in peace to Al Rickman. Great actor. You guys, if you haven't watched a lot of his stuff, go on IMDb, look up his name, and watch a few of his.
Oh, Sweeney
his
Todd. Yeah,
Sweeney
he's in
Todd,
Sweeney
yeah.
I
Todd.
don't remember him
Yeah.
in that one.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
in
the
it, right?
villain in Sweeney Todd.
Is he? I've
Yeah.
not seen that in so long.
He's singing alongside Johnny Depp and
Classic, man. He's a legend. Super Mario Brothers box office crosses 1 billion. 1 billion. Well.
I mean, congrats.
Congrats, yeah.
We knew it was going to happen, 2 weeks ago.
I haven't seen this movie yet.
Really?
I haven't either.
Yeah, I have
It's
not
very
seen
rare
it.
that a movie goes 1 billion and I haven't seen it yet. So, I mean, we talked about this before. It hasn't stopped. It's still going, as we'll see in the box office, the weekend box office. I'm pretty sure every studio now is saying, this is the format. This is how you make it go. with all their video game properties.
Mexico.
Yeah, like this is what you got to do. Congratulations to them. Good job.
It's probably like a really good format for Mario. You know what I mean? Like, because like think of like Last of Us had its own like episode format that worked very well for that.
Right, and that's why I don't think
Yeah.
like Zelda. I don't think should be in the same kind of animation.
No, that should be definitely.
Yeah, I don't think a Metroid should be the same animation.
I could see Metroid in this animation.
Metroid a little more seriouser though. You know what I mean? Like this
Maybe.
is more
but
cartoonish.
if you look at the second Wreck-It Ralph movie, it's a little more gritty than the first, and I could see it being in that style.
Hmm. All right.
You know what's hilarious? The way we talk about this, and like, imagine a boardroom discussing this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my God! Damn.
Like-
we.
Like, I think we sound messy talking about it. I can only imagine how off the wall it sounds like in a boardroom.
All right, we have Mario 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 already planned out. But this, remember, the guy who owns Mario and created him, he's the one in charge of this. So I already know if it wasn't him in charge of this wouldn't have happened. Mario wouldn't have made this much money. They would have went with some kind of live action hybrid type stuff, I think, and it would have flopped. So that's why I'm saying all these other video game IPs at these other studios, I don't know if they're gonna fare as well. But that's my opinion. All right, next up, next James Bond actor rumors swirl around Game of Thrones star after cryptic post.
I mean, I don't know. I don't love it.
It's gonna be another Bond, but who will it be? They really don't want to give it to Idris, do they?
Well, bear with me because I know this is not a popular opinion. James Bond is not a black man; he's Scottish. So, if you want to, you have to change his backstory and all that stuff to do it, and they haven't done that. I think
Didn't they establish though that different people can be 007?
I thought so.
Yeah.
I thought that was established in the Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Well, they established 007 can be other people. They did not establish that James Bond can be other people.
Right, but the name of the movie series is 007.
Yeah.
Nah, sort of.
I'm just saying, if we're gonna lean hard into something, we can lean hard into the fact that the series has been called 007.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the case, but I don't know if I. fully
And
agree with
also,
it.
by the way, there are black people in Scotland. Very few, but one of them can go and become a secret agent.
I'm not disagreeing with you that you can't. If you want to make it him 007, fine. You can't make him James Bond. James Bond is an established character. You can't all of a sudden change him. And I know that's not popular, and I'm sure people are gonna shit on me in the comments.
I mean, I think it's the same discussion of when they try to do a black Superman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
And you
But
know,
there
you
is a
see
black
how-
Superman, so that's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but I
Well,
mean,
you-
some people want Kal-El of Krypton, Clark Kent, to be, by a black person, black actor, and people are like, "But why? I don't understand." And then they're like, "Oh, but we have black Superman. We have the Superman Earth 22. We have
Right.
Val Zod, right?" And then it's like, "Okay, yeah, but I would just want my Superman to be black because
That's why I think it's different. Like, okay, you have Superman, right? But the lore already has a black Superman within it. So say if it didn't, okay, it already has a black Superman within it. So if you cast Kal-El as Black Clark Kent, I think it brings confusion to the lore, is what I think. Because the lore already contains Black Superman. And then if he's like, wait a minute, this is Clark Kent, but wait a minute, is that what's his face from Earth 52 or wherever?
Okay,
Earth
just
he's
for the
from?
record,
Yeah.
the movie-going audience doesn't know,
Yeah, well,
right? So, they don't know.
the
It's just
majority,
a matter-
the majority of the movie going audience. You're right.
I don't even think-
No, the vast majority, because let's face it, we should be well aware now that it's not ruled by the comic fans.
No, agreed. That's what I'm saying.
I don't even
What were you
think they
gonna
really
say, Phil?
picked the next James Bond. I think this is like a clickbaity article.
Oh, of course, it's
Yeah,
clickbait.
yeah.
This is all
And
very
then now that I'm like
clickbaity.
looking at
We
it,
clicked
and
on it. We
The
took the
one I-
bait.
yeah.
The one I wanted when it was like rumored years ago, when Daniel Craig was talking about leaving, was Hiddleston, and that's not going to happen now because he's fully a Marvel guy. His availability is like this big. But yeah, I don't know if you ever saw, what the heck was it called? The Night Manager. It was on FX. It was like a 6-part espionage series, for lack of a better word. He was amazing in it, and I'm like, oh, that's the Hiddleston that you saw. That you wanted to be a Bond. I could see that.
Am I the only one not? Are we not mentioning the elephant in the room? Who should be Bond?
Who?
Cavill.
No. Did you see him in Man?
Come on, Cavill would be a good Bond.
Nah. He doesn't have that smarmy, suave thing about him. He's a good actor, but I just don't believe him. I wouldn't believe him as that.
I could take him as Bond, but you're right. He's not like what I imagine.
I
did enjoy The Man from U.N.C.L.E. though.
He's good in it, but he's not. You look at that and you don't go, oh yeah, Bond.
Right.
And if you saw the last Mission Impossible movie,
Yeah. All right.
Another contender is Aaron Taylor Johnson.
What about Taron Egerton?
I love him, and I love him for Wolverine.
I think he'd be great.
Shout out to Manny, the Hobgoblin Collector. What's good, my friend? Thank you for tuning in.
I think Taron Egerton's because he's young enough. You can do a bunch of them with him. He's got the accent, and he's a slight transition from who were leaving. I just lost his name. The Daniel Craig. He's a slight transition instead of like a 180.
He might be a bit young though.
Yeah, but you can do a young James Bond.
But every Bond he'd be the first one that's that young.
No, he wouldn't.
Well,
Because the very first Casino Royale Bond is pretty young.
And
How
I
old?
want to what's his losing names today. Living Daylights Bond. Dalton was young.
Timothy Dalton.
He was young when he started too.
As young as Edgerton?
I probably. But
How
you gotta
old is
remember people in the 80s just age different than we do now.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Like people
Yeah.
like Wilford Brimley looks older in Cocoon than Tom Cruise does now, and Tom Cruise is older.
Yep.
That's my point.
I mean, that's a harsh light for us to cast. A harsh light.
All right. Final story. Will new Universal monster movie set up new universe? Scream 6 directors respond.
Do we have, does
here's
everything
their
have to be a
quote.
universe?
Yes. We're out here right now. We're in Dublin. We're hopefully starting to shoot in a few weeks. It's very fast. It's a Universal monster movie. And that for us is insane that we're making a Universal monster movie. We are, as the guys who brought you Scream 5 and 6, very much fans of original standalone movies. Kids of the 80s and 90s, we miss that. Obviously, that's not really where the world is right now, especially with studio movies. And that's fine because there's other ways to do that. And I think our approach is always, it sounds weird, but that's our approach on Scream 5 and 6. And that's our approach on this one. Let's make this original movie. It's a standalone movie. There's a monster in it. That much is for sure. It's Universal doing their thing where they're giving different filmmakers, here, take this and run with it. That for us is exciting as filmmakers to be going into making this movie. It's also really exciting to watch other filmmakers put their stamp on something we know from growing up.
All right, Sam, now read Manny's comment that I have up.
Cavill has the looks, but he doesn't have that drop them Manny Suave personality.
Okay, I just want to say Every woman I know who's watched The Witcher thinks he's got them drop them panties suave. That's all I'm saying.
Nice.
So Frankenstein is coming out. Remember they tried this Universal monster movie thing.
Who's
already.
playing Frankenstein?
We don't know yet.
They don't know yet.
I mean, if they do a whole,
Remember the Mummy, the remake of the
That's it.
Mummy. That was supposed to be the first part.
Yes, and it didn't do well
No, see,
because they relied too heavily on Tom Cruise.
if you want to do a Universal, like everybody, like you're creating a universe. If you want to start with Renfield and do a whole comedic thing where they all come together at the end, and you have an updated kind of Monster Squad thing, I'm in for that.
Actually, I'm
Yeah.
in for that too.
I mean, but that's the comedic one. We want a serious one
fine.
too. I want a serious monster universe.
There-
I don't want it to
there's-
become
there's
some
there's
X-Men
some-
Avengers type thing. You know what I mean? I don't want it to become that where all the monsters team up to destroy it. I don't want nothing like that. But I would like a connected universe amongst the Universal monster movies. Anybody else? Anybody else?
I don't have
Don't
a
all
dog.
raise your hands at once.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't have a dog in this race.
All right, so that's the news for today. Hope you enjoyed that news. Leave a comment. Let us know what story you would like us to cover. Let's get into the
Oh, look at
box-
Larry.
Larry, anybody else? Anybody else? I would like a connected monster universe. Yes, Larry. Jones understands.
we had one where Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein because they were all in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, indeed. So the box office. Super Mario Brothers with 40 million domestically. They are currently at $1.02 billion.
I'm impressed with the domestic staying relatively close to international.
That's how you know it's a sure hit, man. When they do that and it's loved evenly, that means it's gonna have a lot of longevity.
Yeah, but Endgame didn't make $1 billion here.
How much? Endgame did like what, 7?
7, I want to say, and the rest of the world
Because
was
Force
1.3.
Awakens did like 9, and that was the biggest one. Number 2, Evil Dead Rise. Only a 50% drop. Added
I keep hearing
12
good
million.
things.
Yeah, let's see here. It made 62 million so far, and these movies are made on such a small budget that this is good stuff for them. And I hear there's more sequels coming for that. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Number
I
3
wanna see
pulled in
this.
6.8. John Wick 4 with an even 5 million, dropping only 14%.
What's the total
got?
on that now?
What you got, John?
That's like the number 4 movie still. It feels like
Look at that! Look at that!
400 million.
That's what I love.
Phil, you said it's a number 4 movie. What do you mean, like this week here? Or-
still, and it came out like
Yeah.
a month ago now.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's long. That's another thing. I'm wondering why it keeps going up. But what we got here? Larry. Oh, sorry, Jackson. I thought it was Jones. My apologies, Jackson. Know what story I want to connect a monster. Sorry, talk to text. But I want a monster universe. You will get it, hopefully. Hopefully. Star Wars returned into the theaters this weekend. Return of the Jedi re-release pulled in about 5 million. That's
Do we
pretty
know
cool.
which version they re-released?
Don't know. I think it's the last one they did.
The Disney Plus one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I still want to go see it again in the theater.
What's different about the Disney Plus one?
There's little things they tweaked. I mean, even in New Hope, they tweaked it for Disney Plus. The Greedo Han scene, is the big controversy.
Is
Even
what
that
is
one-
Han shooting
I think
first again or no?
He's still shooting first, but I think
What,
They
for
make
A New
Greedo
Hope?
go for the
They
gun, but they
tweaked it
have
again.
They both shoot this time at the same time. Like,
No,
that's the other
that's-
movie.
No, it used to be just Han shot. Then it was they
Yeah.
both shot, but Greedo shot first. Then there was
Yeah.
No, I
That-
specifically remember it flipped from Han shooting to Guido shooting, and that's when people lost it. Then I remember they both shot,
and Han
um,
shot first.
right, and then we went back to Han shot first, and God knows where we're at now.
Yeah,
'cause
they,
I
like I
lost
said,
track.
they tweaked it again, but I can't remember what the changes for the new one. So I know it's little mini things in Return of the Jedi. There's nothing too crazy. I think the ending is still the same, where they cut out the song.
It's
I like. Oh,
Is it,
that's right. They changed
Hayden,
the song.
Hayden Christensen as the Blue Ghost.
Hayden Christensen. That was my
Yes.
favorite change right there. That was my favorite change of it.
Really?
You are
Yeah.
so alone in that,
It makes
Samuel.
no
I am alone,
Alone.
yeah, because it
makes
gave a
no
connection to the
sense.
prequels. I liked it.
It
Because it
makes
made
no
sense.
though.
It made sense because George Lucas explained that's when
I
Anakin
know the
Skywalker
explanation
died
is-
when he became Darth Vader.
But
So his
everybody
Force
else
Ghost
looks exactly the same.
His Force
as
Ghost
when they
would
died.
be the age of the person when he died. As Anakin.
Everybody else looks the same as when they physically died.
I know.
So
No,
like,
no,
that's,
no, no,
show me-
no,
that's a
no, no,
bullshit.
Show
no,
me
no,
the
no.
Emperor's
No,
first
no, no, no.
ghost.
Spiritually
Show me the
died.
Emperor.
I get the spiritually died. I know what he said. It's a bullshit answer for him to fix for him to put that in there. I don't buy
It's
it.
his story. How can it be a bullshit answer?
Come on.
It's his story.
It's his story, but he can still fuck
It's all
things up.
fake.
I think it's only out for like a week. Is anybody gonna go see it?
I want to go.
I've
see
been,
it.
I've been thinking if that should be our assignment this week.
Is it? It's only out in 400.
I got
Yeah, we
I
gotta
ended
see
up
a movie
getting
this week. It was
the
gonna be
4K,
Guardians
the
of
4K
Galaxy.
83, the Project 4K.
Oh, we have to see Guardians of the Galaxy. We have
We
to.
do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. we do.
That's
Are we doing this? Are we making a date? Commit, you bastards! Commit.
and number 6.
Well, someone's got to do stand up on Saturday. I would say we go after a Tourniquet.
We could go Thursday night. Abandon your families and we'll go Thursday night.
I'm hoping it comes to the drive-in.
Discuss it after the show, guys. We'll discuss it after the show. All right. Number 6, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Only dropping 25%. Made about $4 million. It's at 194.
That's
Still
really
made more
good for that
than-
movie.
Still
Yeah.
made more than Black Adam and Shazam.
Insane. Air only dropping 27%, made about $4 million. New entry, Pontian Selvin Part 2.
That's
What is
gotta be
this?
foreign. That's got to be a foreign movie.
It's foreign.
Oh yeah,
South
that's
Indian.
That's Bollywood.
It's Bollywood. Okay. That's dope cover though. Poster. Sorry, that's tomorrow, guys. I'm sorry. At number 9, The Covenant
I want to see.
made
that.
about 3.5. Sisu made about 3. Let's see what Sisu is.
I want to see
An
this too.
ex-soldier who discovers gold in the Lapland wilderness tries to loot into the city. Nazi soldiers led by a brutal SS officer battle him. That looks pretty.
Looks alright.
All right. Made about $3 million. And
I
Big
made a
George
post
Farm.
about that in the group chat.
That's
Yeah.
right. You did send that the other day.
Big George Foreman, the miraculous story of the once and future heavyweight champion of the world.
That title is too long. Who let them go with that? Who?
I was just thinking, like, wow, that is a
How did
title
that
of
Yeah,
a
leave
but
movie.
the boardroom?
Yeah, but you know, on the poster, it's the Big George Foreman, all that other shit, like underneath.
No, the post. It's grand
really
in the
that-
poster. The only place it doesn't fit is in the movie theater. So when you go to the movie theater, it just says George Foreman on the thing, right? But no, everywhere else is George Foreman, the miraculous story. And I'm like, all this so I could go find out about a guy who created a grill.
Probably the greatest grill ever. All right, so
he was a
that's
pretty good boxer.
No, he was a great boxer. But I
He had
mean,
an
it's so
impressive career.
funny. It's
He's
so
al-
funny because the trailer of the movie, I remember the first trailer I saw in the theater of this movie, and I was like, I'm like, are they gonna do the grill? And there's a little scene where the camera is like in like it looks like a banking office. It's George Foreman, his wife, and like their banker or analyst or whatever he is. And he's like, that grill you invested in, he goes, it's actually doing incredibly well. There's a lot of money coming in. And I'm just dying laughing because it's like the best thing he could have ever done in his life.
And who was it that they didn't offer it to him first?
He went after it.
Yeah, but no, they offered it to somebody else. I can't remember who. And it wasn't, and Foreman was like, I'll do it. I want to say it was like Lou Ferrigno or somebody like that. And they're like, I'm not doing
Well, he
this.
made a mistake.
I'll look it up and I'll find out for you. But it was somebody else originally.
Michael. No, that's the guy who created it. Sorry.
Well,
But he's got a pretty incredible story. I mean, he was a monster of a boxer when he was young, but he is still the record holder.
Even like when he was older, there was like there was a big fight.
57 when he knocked out what's his name?
Evander Holyfield and George Foreman was a pretty crazy boxing fight.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's when he lost the belt.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
beat, was it Michael Moorer? I think when he was like 57. People were like, oh,
Yeah.
he's never, and he knocked him out.
Mr. Foreman. All right, that's the box office news for this week.
All right. By the way, the guy who created it was shopping it, the grill at trade shows, and George Foreman, and he met people from George Foreman's team, and that's how it happened. Now, so he was the first celebrity to get on board with it. However, quickly after the introduction of the George Foreman grill, Evander Holyfield went after, produced the real deal grill.
Look at all the facts coming to you, counsel. Love it. We love these little tidbits.
Who's
All right.
got one?
George Foreman grill?
Yeah, do you have one?
I do.
Do you? Really?
I don't have one.
It's right over there.
All right, there's a couple trailers that came out I'd like to discuss. The Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
How many people actually want this?
I want to read
a lot
the
of
book
Hunger Game
first.
people. Kamari is very excited for this.
I like the Hunger Games. I like the books better, but the movies were pretty good.
I hate the Hunger Games movies except for the first one. I think the first one is sharp and brilliant, and I feel everything I enjoyed from the books, 90% of what I enjoyed from the books, are completely washed away by its sequels. Oh, look at what's his name. I love it. Look at him.
Tyrion.
Yes, drink it away.
He lives in the area.
Yes.
I was discussing with Kamari about this, and he plays the character who invented the Hunger Games. Now whether the backstory, we're trying to figure out where this movie is actually placed, because I think it's like a couple Hunger Games in when it starts, but there's like a whole story of him creating this game that he didn't really. They came up with the idea basically, but he didn't want it to. He's like, yeah, we have this idea, but it can never be done. And he's like double crossed and blah blah blah. And the games happened anyway. So I'm excited to see.
And I think the I forgot what they're actually called, but it's like the president who was Donald Sutherland. Yeah. He's like the Woody Harrelson for like a tribute now. He's not like the president. So this is when he was like, you know, the not the sponsor. I forgot what it's called.
The tribute? No,
yeah.
Right? The tribute?
No, the tribute is
there she is. It's the 10th Hunger Games, Kamari says.
Yeah, the tribute is the kid
Correct
playing
us
in the
on
Hunger
everything.
Games. But what was like the Woody Harrelson of like the, you know?
I don't
Woody
think he's
Harrelson
in
to,
this.
no, he's not in it.
No, but he's their coach. I forgot what that's called.
Yeah, so this is when Snow is like the coach. So it's taken way back.
I believe so. Kamara, can you confirm this? She says, of course, you discuss my area of expertise when I'm sick. I'm so sorry. So sorry you're so sick. But could this possibly spark the Hunger Games again?
Yeah.
I mean, it could if the cast is really, really great and nails the story. But I mean, we're basically watching the hero become the villain, so like that sucks.
Kamara says he's playing a mentor.
Yeah, that's what.
That's what it mentors. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
I like
who
that-
do I keep hearing in the background, guys?
What's
well,
that?
since Cliff has brought attention to it,
Is Kamaria there commenting? Because I can hear it.
he's not here. It's
Oh.
somebody else's. Somebody else's. It's not that bad, Cliff. I like the fact that they got this guy. Hold on. Where is it? This is Kamar says this is the grandfather of that game show person.
Oh, the
that's
game
cute.
show host.
Yeah, and he, you know how he's got the whole same
All right.
look.
Right at the beginning, I'm mad already at whoever designed the sets.
Why?
Right? Because that look is so dated. I mean, I'm not saying that we wouldn't take 10 steps backwards because that's the world we live in, you know, but like it should be futuristic. All right. The world as we know it falls apart and it becomes the 13 districts, and then they have their little war. The 13th district is lost and all that stuff. Right. So like, why do all the TV sets look like 50s television sets? Right. You know, behind him.
You got a point there. Like,
yeah, like it should be like that is what I love visually about the first one, even though people disagree with me. But the first one takes the chance on being futuristic. The people who are bougie and have money, there's wild, eccentric dress, bright colors, weird shit like pumping in tiger DNA into them so they have tiger-like eyes, all of that craziness, you know? So like, oh
Tiger
my
blood.
But maybe it's a way for them to distinguish because this is what 60 years before, right?
Right, 60 years before, but our technical future. So, you know, if the rich keep getting richer and control everything, why doesn't it look like super wild, badass? Why is it a rehash of a 60s aesthetic? You know, like you see that? Like, why would our future televisions look like that?
Very good point. Very good.
Why do bell bottoms come back every once in a while?
Again, I stand by that it can happen. It's just that's the other thing. The other visuals I'm getting from this preview are very interesting. It's the game show element preview that's like kind of a letdown because I would like go hard, you know.
Yeah. All right, that's the Hunger Games Ballad of Songs. Songbirds
Kamaya is our wonderful point person again.
She says the Hunger Games take place in a fictional America called Appanin.
Oh, Panin.
Come on, there's a tilde in there.
Panin?
Yeah,
Panin.
Panin.
Panin. Hold on here. They had a lot of natural disasters that set them back a bit historically. And she says Panin. I have my Spanish keyboard on. All right, so very interesting. There was another trailer before we get to our main topic.
I looked it up. It was almost the Hulk Hogan grill.
Oh,
really?
We're going way back here. We're skipping way back. Jeez. All right, Transformers came out. Rise of the Beasts. This was a great trailer. It's got me real excited for Transformers. It's bringing back to life the animated series, basically, because they look incredible.
Mm-hmm.
The Beast Wars look phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Unicron is the villain in this, which is very interesting because I'm guessing this is where they break from the Michael Bay movies. Because in the Michael Bay movies, Unicron is inside the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So unless Unicron like becomes really, really small and drills himself inside the Earth, I'm guessing this is where the two universes split. Because Bumblebee had some ties to the Bayverse, some little slight ties with the organization and the officer. That was played by what's his name? The Sector 7 guy. Come on, help me out here. You remember the Sector 7 guy?
I do, but I don't remember. I don't remember names or anything.
Hey, we don't remember the Bayverse. But
Yeah, I'm not a tremendous fan of the Bayverse.
first
Nah.
one was good. First one was good. But Optimus is really looking great. Optimus Primal is looking great. And I think this is finally going to be the Transformers movie. Like, look at that. That's straight out of the animated movie right there. That's what we want to see. I'm excited to see what Larry Jackson thinks about it. Because he's a big Transformers fan. One little stick, they have 1994, but they're playing a song from DMX that came out in 1998.
Oops.
Oh,
Oops.
but is it playing on like the whole trailer, or is it
Just
just
little
playing
parts of it. Yeah.
All right.
Pete Davidson is playing Mirage.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. He sounds pretty cool. Can't think of anything else with this. But from the bad taste from the previous Bay movies, I'm real excited for this one. I think this will re-spark the Transformers interest. If not, it's dead in the water, because then they got a Transformers animated movie coming out, which is supposed to be the prequel to this universe, called Transformers 1. It will be the story of how the Autobots and Decepticons came to be, and about Orion Pax, who will be voiced by Chris Hemsworth. So people are arguing, well, what about Peter Cullen? But the argument is this is a young Optimus. Larry says, I hope this is good.
And he also says,
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but your voice doesn't change that much.
Well, I hope the director knows-ish about the 90s.
and by the way, Ronaldo, it could be anything. I know people whose voices have changed wildly from when I knew them as a teenager, and people who sound identical. Sam and I sound identical. Sam and I also have people from our graduating class that look 15 years older than us.
Well, looking and sounding are completely different. And I'm not saying your voice doesn't change at all, but it doesn't go from like this pitch to like down here.
But it can. I know it's not too
After
common.
puberty?
I can. You know,
I want to believe it, but I don't.
It happens a lot. It happens a lot to smokers. That's most common.
So we're saying that Optimus Prime was a smoker?
No, but he is a machine. So.
No, but Optimus Prime is Orion Pax is reformatted to become Optimus Prime, so his voice can be changed to become Peter Cullen. It says Peter should do the voice. I think he will. I think by the end of
look at the next line. He said shouldn't.
Oh, Peter shouldn't do the voice. So yeah, I mean, unless they plan on making multiple movies about this prequel, if this is just a one-shot movie, then I think you might hear Peter Cullen at the end when he becomes Optimus Prime. Maybe. We shall see. All right. It is now time for us to discuss our movie of the week. Mamoa Conan. Oh my lord.
Conan the Barbarian. An hour and 53 minutes.
Of my time.
It's only from 2011, people. Come on. Woo! We got Jason Momoa, Rose McGowan, Ron Perlman. You know, young Conan played by young Leo Howard. I mean, we got everything in there.
Yeah.
Let me just come out the box and say, this movie is not great. And
correct.
I had to watch Conan the Destroyer after watching this movie so I could get it out of my head. Get it out of there.
I went into this movie open-minded because I always try to, especially when we're watching them to review, right? And like I said before we started, the opening's great.
The opening is great. I love the opening.
Let's see where this is going. And then my biggest problem with this movie, and my wife watched the second half with me because I was watching. She came back from doing something. She's like, sat down. Is it's wildly inconsistent. The rules they set for themselves, they don't necessarily follow through the whole thing. There's sword chops where there's blood flying everywhere. Then there's sword chops that just knock you to the ground. Explain that to me.
Manny
Makes
the
no
Hobgoblin Collector says, to quote Nicolas Cage from Wicker Man, my eyes. I'll let you continue. Go ahead if you want to.
I mean,
go ahead, Cliff.
What else? Yeah, go ahead, Cliff. I know you. I don't know how you feel about it. Like, I wanted to like it, and there are some things in it that are decent, but it's so just, I don't know. It doesn't know what it wants to do half the time.
It felt generic to me. Like, there's no real like standout. Like, it's Conan. This is like, the big barbarian. Like, and there's no standout like fight or action scene anywhere in the movie. There's not even like any really good like monsters he fights in it.
Even the big fight at the end is not that great.
Yeah, and it's just it felt, I don't know, maybe stale. So, like, very generic. Like, it was almost a very generic fantasy movie.
I thought as soon as Mamoa came on the screen that it just wasn't Conan for me. I was like, because when you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's gonna get mad because I'm going back to the prototype. But he's like half the size of Arnold. He's not like Arnold got cut. You know what I mean? Like, he was cut. Momoa looked like
also Mr. Olympia going into that movie, so you can't.
But he needed to get more cut than that, man. He needed to get more cut than that. It looked like he just took off his regular clothes, threw on the outfit, and said, "Okay, I'm Conan."
I don't think I don't know if I fully agree with that. I think he should have been a little bit bigger than he was. He looked more like the Conan from the comics as opposed to the original movie.
Which is the part that I thought was cool.
Right. So
all right, I don't know.
He changes his kilt like 6 times in that movie too. I'm like, how many kilts does this guy have? He's supposed to be this marauder going across the country, just feeding wherever he can find food. But he's got wardrobe changes? No.
I mean, Conan was known for that, though, with like toys and all this other stuff, having different outfits.
Yeah, but he's basically wearing a kilt and no shirt, which I'm fine with. But he's got a red one. He's got a brown one. Then he's got like a orangey one. Then he's got this other like tan one. I'm like, when do you have time to change when you're chasing after people and riding a horse and all, whatever. I know it's stupid, but that definitely took me out of it. I thought Rose McGowan was probably the best character in the whole movie, and even she didn't have enough to do.
No, that's true. I enjoyed her, and she did not have enough to do.
I can agree with that. Cliff, why do you enjoy this movie? Please let us know.
Explain to me the mask.
I don't have the investments and the attachments that you did. I didn't even enjoy the Conan movies when I was a kid.
Blasphemy.
Wow.
I think I like them. I like them a little bit more now, but like they were not a go-to for me in my childhood. So, when this movie came out and I didn't even watch it when it came out. I discovered it later, right? And I was like, oh, he kind of looks like Conan from the comic. That's kind of neat. And it's got like a strong fantasy element to it. And he's supposed to be a younger Conan. So I'm like less phased. And also action movies, as you know, I have my bar is very low for action because they're all inconsistent and kind of terrible, and that's why I couldn't enjoy. That's why John Wick, for example, I enjoyed it less and less as the story continued, right? Because it kept having to jump bigger sharks, and really after you jump the second shark, I'm out. The first shark, okay, we did it. Happy Days did it. I get it. But after the second shark, I'm like, oh my God, just do something different. That isn't ridiculous.
Phil, before we came on, you said something that I kind of agree with. Like, it had like a generic feel to it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and like it was just like there was nothing like that could stick out in this movie. Just it felt very like a very generic fantasy movie. They didn't really strive to put anything.
Yes.
They did the bare minimum to make it fantasy.
It felt. I agree with you. It felt very much like what we were saying before with the Mario thing, where you got a boardroom and they're all making decisions together instead of letting a writer write, letting a director. Felt like they sat in the boardroom. Well, we got to have a monster at the end because we haven't had one. We have to have the bad guy do something ridiculous at the end because we don't have one. He's got to have some backstory where his mother dies or his father dies, so now he's it felt very much cookie cutter. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
To me, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a problem when the logo zoomed in.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is gonna be a problem.
I thought the logo was pretty good too.
The logo.
It's like they cut out the logo right here from the poster, and they just put like zoom on the thing. I was like, no fire on it, no nothing, no extra. No,
it would have been better if the Conan name came up and then the sword went through it.
Went through it, like you can still do that in like Photoshop.
That would have worked.
My one big problem too was the ending. He got the mask, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't look any stronger than he ever.
Well, he's trying to get his wife the whole time.
But I thought the mask was supposed to be. He put the blood in the mask. He got the blood from the virgin. He put it in there. He put the mask on. But it didn't make him any stronger.
Bare minimum, man.
Yeah, I was like, you're supposed to be this big, powerful guy.
Well, and how about that mask too? If when you see it the first time in the or the prologue, it's just a mask that the guy puts on his face. And this one, the tendrils are moving. I'm like, what is going on here?
Well, because he completed the ritual, there's a supernatural element to it.
Right, but you should have seen that in the beginning too.
No, because we never saw a completed ritual in the beginning. We are told of it, right?
Yeah, but it should have at least been like this on his face then. In the beginning, it's all horns and everything sticking out. We know that it's been completed, right? And he's using it to its nth degree at the beginning of the movie. But at the end of the movie, it wraps around like a face hugger from Alien, which it explained that to me because we should have seen that at the beginning too. And how did you cut it off his face then?
It did wrap around like a face hugger from Alien. Like I thought about that when I watched it. Like, wow, that's an Alien.
I thought that the thief guy that he goes to get, remember the guy he saves at the beginning? What's his name? El Shan or whatever. He should have been more in the movie than he was. It was like, let's introduce this great character that's going to be fun. And then not use them at all.
And just use them right at the end. They use them right at the end just to like use it.
Right. We need someone to open locks because Conan. We need someone to open locks, but when the guy's stuck in the cage, Conan just chops the lock off anyway. So why would you just do that going in?
But anyhow, I still don't think it's a great movie. I just did not recall hating it. And I thought it was worth a revisit, but damn. I'm glad we revisited it so I can see where your bar is.
I enjoyed the experience watching
those sand people to me.
I like the sand fight.
I didn't understand them.
That might have been one of the best fights.
Summon them.
I didn't understand where they came from. He summoned them, but like, okay, so they come out of sand, right? And you're on the edge of the village. Leave the village. They can't come after you. They're not on sand anymore.
Okay.
Like, what are we doing?
Putting so much thought into it. Like, it's a fight scene. It's supposed to be fun and fantasy and adventure. He's got to save the girl. She keeps moving to the top. She stabs one of them with her knife. I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, you're thinking way too hard about that. And again, I'm not saying that maybe we shouldn't, but I'm like, like you're like looking to kill.
No, like I said, I'm watching it going, that doesn't make it. Why would you stay there? And oh my God, that fight scene with the guy is awful. Because the guy's got this ridiculous like Swiss Army sword.
Oh, that was awful.
What the fuck was that?
Oh
What is
yeah.
that?
The Swiss Army sword. Jeez.
Come on with that.
Release your anger. Only your hatred can destroy this movie.
I don't know. Like I said, I wanted to like it, and and I nitpick stuff. You guys know that. I will nitpick. Just to me makes common sense. So if you set your own rules and you stick to them, I'm okay with that. If you break it, but you have a good reason for it, and it makes sense with everything else kind of flows from that, I'm okay with it. This just kind of made its rule in each scene. It almost didn't make sense. I did like the black guy though. The ship guy was good.
Yeah.
These boys. I don't know. To me, it wasn't dark and gritty enough. But that's just me.
I was gonna say, classic Conan stories aren't all particularly dark and gritty. See, this is the thing. Your measure of Conan is 2 Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, and that should not be the measure of Conan alone.
Conan.
Did we ever
Come on.
explain how he got the scar on his arm too?
He's been on many adventures.
I mean, that's the
Many.
perfect time where you show that. You showed the scars on his hands when he's with his father. Show that one. I don't know why you don't show that. Like,
That was brutal too. The whole oof.
That was a great opener because
it was.
That was brutal.
now I'll tell you why. And maybe that's why I'm forgiving you the movie, because I'm invested with the opening. It's a great setup for a story of revenge.
Absolutely makes total sense. But then he doesn't go revenge.
And the rest of the movie
he runs
happened.
into the thief guy, who he just accidentally runs into the thief guy, and he's helping him, and then just so happens the guy who's after the thief guy is the guy whose nose he chopped off, and now he remembers and he's going on this.
That was
revenge
grimy
quest.
too. Oh, when he
Like-
stuck his finger in his nose thing. There were some parts I was like, oh, okay, that's real Conan. That's real Conan. I like that. That's good. Ugh. All right.
I'm sorry, Cliff. I know I shit on this.
I mean, and I'm just fascinated because the areas you go to when you rip things asunder, and then the areas that you sometimes just are like, yeah, but I had a good time. I'm like, all right.
I know.
And I'm not even saying about this one movie. I'm just saying, like, from when we go from one area to another. Now I got to be like way more.
What do you guys think
And you
an actual
you're welcome to
Conan
call me
fan
on
would
it, that's fine.
feel about this movie? Like someone that does like read the Robert E. Howards and the the comics and stuff.
I think
Would
they're aligned more with Cliff.
they would probably like it a little bit more.
Yeah, they like
All
it
right.
a little bit more. Like,
You-
he's
and
right.
like I-
I'm going off of the Schwarzenegger Conan. He's
Did
totally
any
right.
of you read Busiek's Conan? Because that was great.
I do read an
the
occasional
Barry
issue, and
Windsor,
it's really good.
the
Yeah.
Barry Windsor Scott Conans. from, like, the
Yes,
70s.
that was
yeah.
where he actually had to play detective a little bit.
yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
the thing is, when we meet Conan in that story, Conan's like, but I'm a thief, right? And like, but things keep happening. Conan's got, and we as the reader realize that Conan has to start playing detective. And Conan never has the thought, I have to start playing detective. Conan's like, I got to figure this shit out, right? But the whole time, Conan's self-identity is, I'm just a thief. Like, that's the whole reason I'm even here, you know? And it's just great. It's the one in the tower. Do you know which one I'm talking about, Phil?
I think so.
That's a
I
good
think so,
story.
yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
Conan does get to be Conan, but we get to see a different side of him in that story. Anyhow, it's good. I enjoyed that we got Conan the pirate in this one too, you know.
Yeah.
But I like this concept that Conan is many things because he just lived that kind of wild life, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, the movie's not like excellent. Like, I give the movie a 6, and but I give it credit for trying, and I like the characters. But Ronaldo's also right. There was more that I felt that could have been done with all the supporting cast.
I
yeah.
think the cast was great. I think visually there were some nice elements to it. It looked great.
Yeah.
I
Oh, like
think
the keep
plot
over the
is all
water,
over the place,
beautiful.
though. The plot is all over the place. It makes no sense half the time. That's my if the acting's great, even though the story's ridiculous, and it looks great. It's just the writing's terrible.
Yeah, and Mamoa and the director both agreed that it was one of the worst experiences ever in their filming career.
Is that right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Now,
Now they can't all be Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. All right.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
Um,
if you have not seen Puss in Boots, it really is very good. Very
Puss in
good.
Boots. Larry
The
Jackson
last-
says, I didn't hate it, but it wasn't good.
That's my review of it. I didn't hate it, but it just wasn't good. You feel
Yeah.
sorry for Conan because you're like, he should have been represented so much better.
Yeah.
And it's not even like Mamoa did him really that bad. It's just
Yeah.
He wasn't that bad.
He
It
wasn't
just kind
the
of
problem. He wasn't.
yeah,
the
he
problem.
wasn't the problem. It was
Look,
was
if
weird to
they
see
want
him-
to do, if they want to do Conan, if they want to do another Conan with him, I feel like now's the time.
But you gotta go all in.
Yeah, but
man.
get like a
Yeah.
real, get like a big.
This wasn't
team.
rated R, right? Was this
Yes,
rated
it
R?
was. Yeah, it was.
It
was?
was.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
oh
was
my
rated.
God, you
Well,
had
that's
a
right. I
rated.
forgot there's boobs.
That's like a
got the nudity,
tame
yeah.
rated R right there. Man.
There's
Yeah.
boobs. That's all it
There's
takes
boobs
to
in
make
it.
it an R.
You wasted a rated R. Like, come on. Just to catch up on some comments, I missed Kamara's thing about
I'll say this.
Transformers. She had no clue the Transformers movie was happening.
Where have you been?
I find that hard to believe since I've talked about this many times. But she also says, wait, Anthony Ramos is in this. Why have I not seen any ads or anything about this movie? There haven't been a lot of ads till right now, till this week. So to be fair, you're gonna see a lot until it comes out. Green shirt guy, you were gonna say something else?
Oh, I was gonna say, Cliff, you're right. And if I'm inconsistent, you're welcome to call me out on it because I'm sure I'm gonna love the next Fast and Furious movie, and it's gonna be ridiculous, and I'm gonna let it go because it's been ridiculous for a while. So I'm just like,
No, and
whatever
like,
at that point.
and that's why I have trouble watching Fast and the Furious. Although, to their credit, it took 4 movies for me to start grabbing my head. You
Oh,
know,
at this point, the last one I remember sitting in the theater going, "Oh, come on!" A bunch of
I like
times I'm
Tokyo
yeah,
Drift.
whatever.
Tokyo Drift
no,
was
I
good.
like Tokyo Drift. That's what I'm saying. Tokyo Drift is a really good self-contained movie. And then they were like, "Oh, this character's popular. We got to fix this, you know, and make it part of the universe." And I still was down, but like, I can't. I think that movies 1, 2, and 3, I was committed to their story. 4 is where I'm like, what are they doing? Like, what's happening? Where's reality? And then like after that, it's just all downhill. Like reality
Well-
means nothing anymore.
Yeah, but in 4 is when they start to become superheroes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, once it gets, I'm like, all right, I've been with it this long. I'm gonna let it go. I know it's stupid, it's ridiculous, it's over the top. Which one was the one where he
Wait,
jumps?
Kamara says, my mom loves the Fast and Furious movies. Miss Alexis does love them very much indeed.
That's Alexis Carrington to you.
Is it 5 or 6 when they jump the car between the two towers in
I feel like that's
in
5.
Thailand? Is it 6? Remember he leaves the one and smashes into the building and slides across the floor and the car keeps going. You know the tower with the ball in the middle that's over in the Far East. I want to say Thailand, but I'm probably wrong. Maybe Singapore.
I'm sure.
I think that's 6. I and they show it in the trailer too. I'm like, all right, it's gonna be ridiculous, but whatever. I'm in for it.
All right.
And they've been to space.
They've been to space. They've been everywhere. So, that is our show for today. We want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Film and Box Office News Podcast. We are the Council of Comics. Remember, we do this every Sunday at 5 p.m. where we go over the box office, go over movie news, and then we go over a special movie. We have not figured out what we're going to watch next week, but you will
I thought
know.
we were gonna do Hero.
I guess we're doing Hero.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
That's Jet Li.
Jet Li.
Yes.
Jet Li, Donnie Yen.
Also, Alternicon is coming this Saturday to Haviland Shopping Plaza in Hyde Park, New York, from 12 to 5. It'll have comic books, cosplay, artists, numerous vendors, free comic book day so you can have free comic books. Green
This
Shirt
guy.
Guy's going to be there with his art and his stickers. We're going to have nice little stickers so you
No, we're
guys
not-
can come out.
No,
Wait,
we're not
are we
thinking
having
that.
stickers or we have the postcard?
No, we got
We
the
have the
posters.
postcard. We didn't do the stickers. We'll have the stickers.
We have
back.
little cards, something like that. Larry says, good show. I'm glad I made it. Thank you for joining,
you, Larry.
Larry. We love
Thank
that.
you, Larry.
So remember, we'll be back again tomorrow night at 8 p.m. to do the keys and hot comics of the week, where we go over all the new books coming out and all the keys for this coming Wednesday, New Comic Book Day. So be sure to tune in tomorrow for that. If you have not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you're watching on Facebook, jump on over to the YouTubes and hit the subscribe button for us. And we will be back next week for another episode of Film and Box Office News. So for myself, for Phil, for Cliff, for Green Shirt Guy, aka Ronaldo, we love you. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.